Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Behind the Line. My name is Elliot Johnson. I'm one of the pastors here on staff and the host of this here podcast. If you are watching for the first time or listening for the first time, hello, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If it's your 1 billionth time or fourth time, I think there's only like 3 or 4 episodes. Welcome back. So glad you're here. Today, I have a special guest. All my guests are special, but this guest is special too, I guess. I was going to say more special, but I don't want to get fired.
Oh, thank you.
One of my dear friends. Dear friend, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Chelsea, and I'm one of the State Line student pastors.
You are. Welcome, Chelsea. Our fake audience is hand clapping right now.
Hello.
Chelsea, it is so good to have you on here. I am so glad that you are part of my team. Could you tell us a little bit of what you do here at State Line?
Yeah. So I am the student team lead, which just means I make sure that Sunday nights go well. So for those who don't know, we have a Sunday service for 6th through 12th graders. We meet on Sunday nights at 5:18.
Yep.
It's 815 backwards. So you won't forget that.
Never again.
And so I just kind of make sure that the programming goes well, that we have the music that we want, that we do the series, we work on that together, and then just make sure that the games and people are here and everything is running smoothly.
Yeah. So I'm sure some of you listening now are like, well, Elliot, what do you do? Yeah. I'm wondering the same thing too. No, I'm kidding. I'm the student teaching pastor. We are on the same team. I know for a while some people thought that I was like leaving State Line students. I'm not. I'm still on the team. I'm the student teaching pastor. And pretty much any idea that I drum up, she makes them happen. So she's like the brains behind the operation. She makes sure that things work. So super grateful to have you on the team. But we've got to figure out the humble beginnings. Like, where did you, how did you get onto staff? What was that process like?
Yeah. So my husband, Tyrone, and I started attending State Line. We just started attending in 2019. We started coming here. We were visiting a few churches. Yeah. But when we came to State Line, it was like very clear that this is where we wanted to be. It felt like home. People were very welcoming. And it's really hard to explain. There's just something different. It just felt different. Yeah. So we started attending, and it wasn't until 2020 that I was on maternity leave from my other job, because for those who don't know, I was a probation officer for 5 years. So it's a little different than working in a church. I did something a little different. I mean, I worked with juveniles, so I worked with teenagers, just a different capacity. So I was on my maternity leave, and it was time for me to go back to work. And I wasn't super thrilled about going back, if I'm honest. I didn't really want to go back, and we had talked about me working part-time, and Greg kind of out of nowhere approached me about working in the church. And at first I kind of was like, no, this is not what I had planned for my life. But God has other plans, clearly, and they're always better. Right. Come on, somebody. So we prayed about it, and I got hired as Greg's assistant, actually, originally. So that's what I got hired in July of 2020. So I've been here for a year.
It takes a special person to be Greg's assistant. I'm surprised you didn't leave immediately, which blows my mind. I can't believe that. But I was
kind of sad, actually. I mean, I love being on the student team. Don't get me wrong, but I loved being his assistant.
Okay, all right. You heard it here first, folks. Interesting. Somebody loved being Greg's assistant. Interesting. Okay, so how did you make the transition from being assistant to being student pastor?
Yeah, so Greg and Tyler kind of talked to me about how they wanted the student team to grow. Yeah. And because it's super great. They value student ministry so much. And so they wanted the student team to grow. And so with that, they knew they needed more staff on the student team. And so they just kind of talked in my strengths about being organizational and event planning. And so they asked if that was something I would consider as stepping into that role. And again, I was like, no. I didn't go to school for that. I don't really know I don't know how to be a pastor. What do you,
Yeah.
how do you do that? Like it was
Right.
all kind of those things. And so I was like, let me think about it. Let me talk to some people and pray about it. And so for like a few weeks, we like talked about it with people, prayed about it. And, it became like more clear that that's where God wanted me.
Yeah.
And so like even my old youth pastor goes to church here
Mhm.
and I had lunch with her and I was telling her about it. And she's like, yeah, I'm not surprised. In 6th grade, you told me you wanted to be a youth pastor. And I was like,
Dang.
well, yeah, I did say that, didn't I? She loves to remind me about that. So Tracy, if you're listening, you were right. Okay.
Dang. She pulled up the history. She broke out the history book. She was like, I remember on this date, you said, oh, that's wild.
So I stepped into that role in September.
I don't know.
You know what? The months have kind of blurred.
It's true.
I mean, but yeah, it's been so great. I'm so glad that I listened to what God had to say because sometimes it's all you can do.
Yeah. Most days, that's what you should do. Absolutely.
No, you don't ask questions. You just say, sure, God, and you do it.
All right. Yep. Let's go. I'm definitely grateful that you did that because it's been a world of difference, I think, and it's made a huge impact in the lives of our students for sure. I mean, I've seen a difference just from the year that you've been here. So it's been awesome to be a part of that team and have someone to help me organize the thoughts in my brain because those I didn't think anyone could do it. So yeah, that's been super fun. So what are some things that you are loving about student ministry here at State Line? Yeah,
one of the things that I have loved is just like hanging out with students.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we're doing this summer is open office hours.
Yep.
So on Wednesdays, we get together in the student room. We have there's like no real plans. We just hang out, play games.
Mm-hmm.
We eat Chick-fil-A, I think,
pretty
much every week. Yeah, we love Chick-fil-A around here. And we just get to hang out with each other. And I love it because students come every week. We have not had a week where students have not shown up.
Yeah.
And it's been cool to like get to know students like myself, but also see like leaders get to hang out with students.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you get to see like students who wouldn't normally hang out with each other. And just because they don't go to the same school or they're not in the same grade,
right?
Getting to see them hang out with each other and get to know each other better. Like I think about like the junior high girls with the high school girls,
Mm-hmm.
like seeing the high school girls like really like hang out with the junior high girls and like play Just Dance with them has been so fun.
It
so
really
I
has.
love doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad we decided to do that.
It's so organic. It's not like super produced and, this is crazy, awesome, hype, wild. Let's put out 9,000 Instagram. It's not like that. It's just super organic. And, to see kids just like enjoying just good old fashioned hanging out is just so refreshing for me. And, I've loved being there. And I thought at first, I'm like, I'm never going to be able to get any work done, which is partially true. But it's like, that is still work, it's the best work you can do. So I've definitely loved that as well. And, it just seems like lately that's what student ministry is like, well, it's not as organic as it used to be. Now it's like this overhyped, like, let's make sure, let's have youth group on the moon. Like, it's kind of lost that organic grassroots, like, well, let's just hang out and talk about life, or let's just, just chill. And so it kind of feels like we're taking a little bit of that back with open office hours. And I love it too. I think it's super fun for sure.
So a lot of times kids just want to be seen and heard.
Yeah.
And that's a really good space for them to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we created that, and our leaders have been so great, coming and hanging out, even if it's just for an hour.
Yeah.
Like we have some students who come on their lunch break for work. How cool is that?
Right.
So I've loved that.
And it's it's sometimes they're just random kids. I'm like, I never would have thought you'd be here, but you're here and I'm glad. Right. So it just opening up that space and giving them an opportunity, and to see those kids jump on that opportunity has been so cool. It's something that I didn't expect, and definitely, I'm glad that was a learning, for sure. That was a learning. So And I'm curious, what are some other things that you're learning about Stateland students throughout this like year that you've been on the team?
Yeah, I think like going along with that, the biggest thing I've learned is that sometimes I think we put too much pressure on teenagers, or we like expect them to be so much more mature. We expect them to, do X, Y, or Z, and they're still teenagers.
Yeah.
And so I think I know for myself, I'm like, well, this worked when I was a teenager, so I'm going to try to do that. Instead of just asking them like, hey, what do you want to learn about, and what do you need help with, and what do you think that you need to hear from God? Instead of doing those things, I'm like, well, I know.
Right.
And so, I mean, and it goes along with like, sometimes we just try to do this huge production because we think that's what they want.
Right.
And they would much rather just like somebody come hang out with them, or they'd much rather somebody just sit with them and pray with them. So I think that that's been the biggest learning. And it's been really cool because we have had students like come up to us and be like, hey, could we do this?
Yeah.
And so it's been nice to like, just remember that they're teenagers.
Right.
And to treat them like
it's so true.
They're teenagers.
It's so true. You're going to be a lot less frustrated in student ministry. And that's something I've been learning in this season too, is like, you're going to be a lot less frustrated in student ministry if you spend more time with students and less trying to think of, well, when I was a student, like it just, it comes from a good place, right? Yeah. You want to help them through, different seasons of life. But like the world moves so fast now, even just from when we were teenagers, which doesn't feel that long ago. Yeah. We're in our 20s, but it's completely different. There's so many different like social mediums now, and there's so many different like ways to access information, and there's so many different things you can do. Like, it's just insane how much like the world has progressed. And so to think that the things that helped us or worked a certain way for us is going to help the generation that we serve is just kind of, it's a little wild to think that, and so some of the best messages I've ever written have come from conversations from students. And so that's totally true. Like that is something that I'm learning as well, is like, how about we let the teens be teens and we learn from them and lead them better through that, just trying to understand their heart and where they're at. Yeah. So, that's a great learning. And I think, just that probably translates just in life in general, like just listening to someone just to hear where they're at, as opposed to like waiting for your turn to talk or saying, hey, well, this helped me, like just listening. And then, if they're like, I'm just curious, I'm stuck, then you offer, well, here's what I think, I think that would just be in general, just a good learning regardless of what age you are. So that's something that I'm definitely learning in this season of life. So what are some things that you are looking forward to in Stateland students?
Definitely looking forward to all the fun stuff we're doing soon.
Oh, yeah. Would you like to tell them the fun stuff? This is our ad. This is an ad break right here.
Sponsored by Stateland students.
Sponsored by Stateland students.
So August 15th, we are having our patio party, our final patio party of the summer. So, which is
sad,
crazy.
But happy.
Yeah, I cannot believe that it's August already.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But we will have food, games, and a giveaway. Not sure what we're giving away yet. I will come up with that by the 15th.
It'll happen.
If you know of something, email me.
Yep, please do. That'd be cool.
So I'm really looking forward to that. The last one was super fun.
Yeah.
We did like a knockout tournament, and they wanted to keep going.
Oh,
it was supposed to be one time, and they were like, "Can we do it again? Can we do it again?" And so it was like for like, I don't know, like a $25 gift card the first time. And they're like, do you have a $5 one by the end? And I was like, sure, sure, guys. So I'm sure we'll do that again. So we have that. And then August 22nd is our back to school kickoff.
Oh, yeah.
So that's when service will start. Service. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We'll start again, right? It'll be back. We'll be back to normal every week programming the same, how it was before the summer. So excited about that. A lot of fun things happening in that. There's going to be new merch that is exclusive to that day.
You have to be there to get it.
We want you to be there to purchase or to get it for free. So if you are a student who is listening or a parent of a student, we would love for you to attend both of those events.
Yep.
That is August 15th and August 22nd. What time?
5:18 for both of them.
5:18.
But you can come at 5, hang out a little before,
Right.
and then we're done at 7:30.
Please pick your kids up
7:30.
because we don't want to sit around with your kids.
We
will.
My child to bed.
We will be good stewards of what you have given us, and we will take care of them. But we'd like for them to be gone by 7:30. So
yeah, all the students like to call me Grandma because I like to go to bed at 9:00. So Grandma has to go to bed.
Oh boy, thank God they don't call me that. There'd be a lot of problems if they did. So what else are you looking forward to in student ministry?
So one of the things that we have been working on is just adding more opportunities for leaders to serve in students. And I think that that's going to be super cool is watching our leaders kind of take more ownership in Dateline students.
Yeah.
So instead of us doing everything and it being like, oh, this is Zach, Elliott, and Chelsea doing everything, like it'll be cool to watch them do it. And then also watching our students step into leadership roles. We have... I mean, I'm probably biased, but our students are so great. Yeah. And we just have some of the best students ever. And so watching them like do things without being asked has been so cool. And so like I know that as the years progress and like especially this year with like I don't know if everybody knows, but we just started doing service in October of 2020 and it was kind of like a month before that is when we decided to start doing like a full student service. So we're kind of like moving into this. This is our first full year of doing it. So we have a lot of changes happening, all good, like super exciting. So it's just going to be really cool watching like these students who are already leaders without like knowing it. I think a lot of them don't know that that's what they're doing. Right. So I'm like super excited about that. Just kind of like building into them and then watching them build into other students.
Right. Well, I think it's cool too because it gives both the leader and the student another opportunity to connect. Yeah. And you know, our mission statement at Stateline is to connect people with Jesus and with one another. And so it just is another way of making that mission statement come to fruition and make sure that it happens. And I just can't wait to hear about, you know, the student that's excited about being a part of a team with a leader and the leaders that are excited about being a part of a team with students. And it's just such an easy pipeline as well for like if someone asks on a Sunday, hey, where do you need help? We can tell you, hey, this is an area we need help. Or you know, to have a student recruit another student, hey, be a part of this with me, come alongside with me. You know, I think that it's just going to be an even easier opportunity to train them up in this idea of like, you know, invitational culture where it's like, oh, I invite my friends to be a part of this at church, and I can also invite my friends to come to church with me. Like invitation just comes way more natural. And so that's probably what the thing that I'm looking forward to the most in that new process is like just how I believe it'll develop like an invitational culture and, you know, that it'll just give more opportunities for connection. So I'm hyped. I am. I'm over the moon about it. And I'm sure you are. I mean, so. Yeah.
I mean, because like the production is great and music is fun and games are fun, but like what the things that kids remember the most and like, now I'm talking about when I was a teenager, but like the things I remember the most are not like the silly games we played or like, to be honest, even like the messages I hear, but it's who invited me and like the time I spent with my small group leader, like going and getting ice cream. Like that's the thing I remember. So it's going to be really cool to watch those relationships form. And that's what kids are going to remember. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. That's something too, like, that I could say that I've been learning as well. Another learning is, you know, I can work, you know, all week on my sermon and it might hit one kid, which is great, but it's so much more important for me to be like down there in the worship pit, jumping around, having fun. Like those are the things that like students are truly going to take to heart. They're going to remember that, you know, they're going to, you know, it's like playing Fortnite with them, even though I can't stand the game or, you know, like getting beat in golf, you know,
learning TikTok dances.
Like what, those are the things that kids are going to be like, man, like that was so much fun, and that's going to remind them of what church was really like, you know? And so, yeah, I'm just excited to be able to like just get better as a team. I'm excited to, you know, see what comes out of like our leaders and what comes out of the student leaders as well. And I'm just hyped about Stayland students. I'm just jazzed. So, yeah. And that's honestly, that's it. That's all I had for you. Those are the only questions. So if you're listening, if you're watching, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. We will see you next time. See you later.